So, our friends are wanting to hear some beauty industry truths.
Mm.
So, there's so much that can be shared, but let's start here. What is a takeaway about, I guess, relationships with guests?
Ooh, I have a good one. I have a good story. I have a good one. And this one actually happened fairly recently.
Hmm.
So, yeah, settle in, kids. This one is actually about a client of mine. And her name is Betty. And Betty and I think Betty, I'd been doing her hair for at least 10 years.
Wow.
So, when you do somebody's hair for that long, you build that relationship. And Betty was one of those that she knew all about my family. I knew all about hers. And she would tell me all about the trips that she would take and, all of this stuff. And I was always accommodating to Betty.
Like if something came up, you always bent over backwards
I
to
did.
care for her.
I did.
Okay.
And I gave her the special privilege of having my personal phone number. I know.
Wow.
I know.
You
And
must
that
have,
is
you really cared for Betty.
that is something
Or do care for Betty.
yes, that is something that I only give to certain people that I know they won't abuse that privilege. But that way, Betty, because her travel schedule with her husband was really kind of busy. I mean, on a whim, they could maybe decide, hey, we're sick of winter. We're going to go to Florida, or we're going to take the RV, or whatever it was. So she would text me if she needed to switch up the appointment or get her hair done before they left town, and I would accommodate. So I would come in early. I would stay late. My one rule, though, was I never come in on my day off.
Oh, I love that rule.
Yeah.
That's a great boundary.
I'm not doing that. For the years, as Betty's hair needs had evolved from just foils to she started to dabble in extensions. And I did tape-ins. So we would do tape-ins, and as Betty would vacation in Florida for months during the winter, she would come back with maybe some K-tips, all sorts of different stuff.
Oh, all the things.
All the things. I would say in the recent past, so within the past year or two, Betty's hair had evolved into hand-tied extensions, which I no longer did. Or I never did. So I was like, well, if that's something you would like to do, Susie, who I work with, would be a great match for you.
You shared Betty.
I shared Betty. And the thing is, typically, Susie would do the color and the extensions, but Betty still really wanted me to do her color.
That's very sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
She just loves you. All
yeah.
Right.
So we made it work, and we would kind of stagger the appointments. So Betty might come get her color done with me, and then, a couple days later, get her extensions moved up with Susie.
Oh, wow. So both you and Susie both would be very accommodating to make sure Betty got what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So back in December, so it was December, November, I don't even remember. We had a snowstorm, and Betty was supposed to come in and have her extensions moved up. So Betty called the salon and was like, I just don't know if I should come in today. It sounds like it's really bad. And our sweet front desk person said, Betty, it's really up to you, whatever you feel safe with. And ultimately, after some back and forth, Betty had decided to move her extension appointment to the following week, which Susie accommodated for her. Didn't think much of it. And all of a sudden that weekend, I'm looking at my email, and there is a appointment cancellation notice, which comes through the app of our booking service. And I was like, oh, Betty canceled her foils.
Goodness.
It's like, that's kind of strange that Betty didn't text me about that, because
since
usually she would text me.
It's a unique relationship. Okay.
It is a unique relationship. But then I was like, you know what? It's cold. It's winter. Maybe Betty and her husband decided to leave town.
Could be.
seek out some warmer weather, you know? And then I was like, well, I'm going to look at Susie's schedule. And I looked and I was like, Susie, she canceled her appointment with Susie. So I messaged Susie and was like, did you notice this? And she's like, yeah, that's kind of weird. So honestly, I didn't, after that, put much thought into it until the following week. I remember it was a Wednesday. Susie called me and she goes, did you see the reel that I sent you? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? She goes, it's Betty.
Uh-oh.
She goes, she went and got her hair done somewhere else. And I said, what?
Oh my goodness.
Like that is the sound. Like my family looked at me like something was wrong. And I was like, what? And it felt like a punch to the gut.
Wow.
She goes, there is a reel of Betty. She is talking about.
Betty doesn't even know what a reel is.
No, Betty was never on social media. But when she went to Salon Square down the road and got her hair done there, the person recorded Betty and her reaction with her new hair. And Betty's crying about how beautiful it is and how it's the best hair she's ever had. And
oh my goodness.
And I love it.
Okay. So this is a difficult one. So, and I often like to spin this around for my friends so that they can recognize this in a very different light. So, let's assume for our listeners that this is a very popular and well-loved builder. Let's just switch industries. And you are the builder, Jane. Everybody loves the work that you do, and you have a unique relationship with some homeowners. You are the only one that they entrust their private homes to. You are their first call. You are always their last call, or any call at all. If they are going to have a party in their home, if they are going to switch the wallpaper in a bathroom, you are their first and foremost personal contact because they love your work. And you have a mutual love affair with them. You enjoy caring for them, hearing about their family, and caring for them as well. You recognize that you do not own this home.
Right.
That you were a hired and paid builder. Right?
Right.
Okay. But yet you allowed yourself to love these homes that you have cared for, also for a long period of time. And to then see across social media a new builder is servicing these homes was a bit shocking.
Absolutely.
So did Betty notify you?
Betty did not notify me. So I think that's why it felt like the punch to the gut, because to me, like I said, whenever I had done Betty's hair, she loved it. She felt beautiful. And obviously, as stylists, you don't own your clients. They're welcome to go somewhere else.
Correct.
But I think it was the fact that there was never any communication of, you never said you weren't happy with it before.
The honesty piece.
Yes. Okay. It was that realization of, I bent over backwards for this person and accommodated them time and time again. And it wasn't appreciated at the end of the day. So that is one thing that I think about a lot of, you give up your time and it isn't always appreciated. It can be expected if you continually do it.
Okay.
So making sure you set those boundaries for yourself.
Okay.
But even think of it from a personal relationship. Like think of it with your spouse, okay? Say they're expecting something from you. They have an expectation of you, but they've never communicated it. Ooh. Right? How are you supposed to know what that expectation is if you never voice it?
That is true.
So
does this come into the mind reading?
Which, I mean, I can't mind read 10 people every day. If you tell me you
Yes.
like it, I have to take it at face value.
Yes. For a guest experience, remembering, lovingly, remembering that your personal stylist, whoever is in your corner, caring for you personally, when you have required specific things, and yet Betty showed you how she wanted you to care for her by answering her texts, by being available at the ready anytime, accommodating her schedule. Although, and I do say this with kindness because I do believe it's imperative to be kind. But she was not caring for a young family anymore,
Right.
and she was not a career woman. She was just a lovely stay-at-home wife.
Absolutely.
And yet you were very kind to always accommodate whatever changed for her spouse and her, and
Absolutely.
then would do as requested. I think the most beautiful thing for a listener hearing this is that if you would like to try a new stylist, no, you do not have to break up with a stylist. No, you do not. It is not a requirement that you have an uncomfortable conversation and that you're going to be forced to do so because of integrity, or you will be coming into question. But I know from experience that when someone was ready to make a change, I really appreciated a card.
Yes.
Or an email.
Absolutely.
To say, thank you for your years of service that you have cared for me. I do appreciate you, and I wanted you to know from me that I've decided to make a change.
I love your saying, Jane.
What's that?
At one time, like, at the end of the day, did I do my best? And yes, at the end of the day, I did do my best. I gave it my all. I did damn good hair on her.
Oh, yes.
And no, I don't. I don't think that I would do anything different. But I will tell you.
What's that?
I still have never watched that reel.
Really?
Yes.
Good for you.
I refuse to.
If our listeners have enjoyed these insider truths, which sometimes are a little painful, we invite them to chat with us. Let's talk about this. You can find us at Main Jane Salon and DM us of, have you ever experienced this? Whether you are a beauty professional and you have some insight, or maybe it's a story of your own that you just want to get off your chest and out of your pocket. We are here to receive that. And also, if you are a guest that has wondered if there is a unspoken protocol as to making a change with your longtime stylist, we hope that this was insightful for you. Jane, I appreciate your vulnerability in sharing this, and hope that our beauty professionals feel like they can connect with your truth. And yet the community that is served, that they have that glimpse of how to have an honest conversation, and that it doesn't have to be face-to-face if that's not something that they want. But you know our saying, clear is very kind. And it's kind to be clear.
It is.
It is. So if you have enjoyed this episode with the Janes, be sure to find us on Instagram at the Main Jane Salon. Like and, of course, share. We want to spread the love and the kindness. See you later.
Cheers, Jane.